Hi everyone, it's Liesl. I'd like to share my October design team project for Tsunami Rose with you today. Although it's meant to be spring here in South Africa, I'm afraid it's a bit overcast at the moment, so I'm hoping the light is going to hold. It's not fantastic, but let's hope it stays good enough. I used the Vintage Parcel journal kit for this soft cover journal, and it has everything I like. Lots of ephemera, very grungy paper, and a postal / travel theme. I bound it with some seam binding, which I dyed with pine needles and faded jeans distress ink, and just a little bit, you can see there, of vintage photo to just give it a bit of an old feel. And it actually came out a really nice peacocky kind of color, and it goes really well with the green and the blue on the cover. So let me just make sure that there we go, that's better. Do I stay in frame? And let's have a peek inside. Just before we do, this is the back, and it's just a single cover journal. And what I did to make the cover was use some cardstock, and I covered it with some brown packaging paper, which I scrunched up and inked and Mod Podged and sort of terrorized for a while until it looked the way I wanted it, and then added the actual printables. So on the inside, I used one of the backing pages in the kit to cover the front and back inside of the journal, and I made a little library pocket and inserted one of the bits of ephemera from the kit. See, it's been tea dyed, and also decorated it with another piece. Here is a little side pocket, and it flaps up for a bit more journaling space. And what I did with this bit of ephemera, which looks like that, is I just turned it into a booklet for a little bit of extra journaling, and Daisy very kindly made it with this little block on the front where one could write a title or a date or something. So that's that. Throughout, as you can see, the pages are quite heavily tea dyed, and I also tea dyed the printables and inked around the edges to just add to that slightly worn feel. There's a flip out. And I also selected all my most grungy bits of tea dyed paper that I could find, so that they would actually fit in with, I mean, you can see this isn't me, this is what the actual paper prints out like, and it's fantastic. It has what looks like coffee rings and water spillage and so on. It's just wonderful, all this stuff going on, and the layers and textures to the pages. You see me, I just want to stroke them. So I went and selected all my really heavily tea-dyed, marked, grungy bits of tea-dyed paper, and then stamped on them. And always, you know how much I like my corner stamps. I did a bit of corner stamping. Here is a packet that has been tea-dyed and inked, and just a little bit of ephemera, and into that I put a shipping tag. And this is postal washi, and I found a stamp in my stash that looks very similar to that stamp there, so I just stamped a little bit over here and there and a bit more there. And of course, if you do stamp on washi, just always remember to use something like StazOn and not any of the other inks, just because it doesn't want to dry on the washi. I think the washi has a slightly plasticized outer covering, and it doesn't take ink well. Here is one of the tags in the kit, or is that, I think this is a tag that I had, but it is a Tsunami Rose one, I think it's from a different kit, but I backed it onto another one of these shipping tags that I have at home, which is also, as you can see, been very nicely tea-dyed, and a bit of the coloured seam binding. Here is just a little bit of ephemera and some more stamping, and if we just remove that, you can see all the delicious bits of red tea dyeing that's going on in here. Here is just a little piece from a notepad that I bought at some stage because I liked the vintage travel theme to it. And places like this on the printable pages I always like, because they give you an opportunity to write a little note or a title for whatever the section is that you're going to be dealing with next, particularly if it's a travel journal. This is the center of the journal. That just flaps up, and there's a little pocket, hides all the workings to actually bind the journal. And then I made another little booklet to go in the center, and because I like to see the image, I turn them upside down and stick them in like that. But obviously it's not necessary, but I like to have the binding on the outside. Right. And of course all these travel stamps that I hoard and compulsively buy, I'm always delighted whenever I have an opportunity to use them in any kind of travel journal. Here you can see some more really nice tea dyeing, and to be honest, I'm not quite sure how I did it. It was a while ago. I think the solution was quite strong, and I probably used less tea rather than more in order to get more patterning rather than a general saturation. So yes, I'm definitely going to see whether I can't do more of that. And then you can see these are just such gorgeous images, and what I really like about all the printable pages for the journal is that they have this male red and blue pattern going around the edges, which really just gives you that vintage travel postal feel. So here's another one of those tags that I made with the washi and the stamps, and the pocket or the little packet is open on the side, and that beautiful blue tag just goes so well with all of it. I love it. And this is another bit of ephemera from the kit. Beautiful page. This is just another page from a writing pad that I bought, which actually shows the southern end of Africa, Cape Town, Kruger Park, and obviously our elephants, ostriches, whales, etc. So I thought that was just fun to add to the journal. Here's a perpetual little month calendar, so you can just mark the month and the date for something to remember. Some stamping. Another one of Daisy's beautiful tags. Also backed onto one of my tea-dyed shipping tags. Bit of stamping and a stamp from the kit, and again this just flips over for a bit more journaling space. I try to keep it as unadorned as possible, which most of you probably know I like anyway, but for something that's meant for travel, I like to leave extra space. Beautiful, beautiful. Love it. There you go. And on the back of the journal I made a little tuck spot, and this is one of the bits of ephemera in the kit, and it looks very much like the old, or I assume it is actually one of the old airmail letters that you had long before the internet, which was a single sheet that you wrote on and then folded up, and it had all the airmail detail on the outside, and you just stuck it in the post box and off it went overseas. So I thought that I would turn this into something similar and made it into a letter format for a bit of extra journaling and just for a bit of reminiscing and old time's sake. I grew up before the internet. So there we go. this is the journal I made for Tsunami Rose, and I really loved every minute of it. I've had this kit for more than 2 years, and it's the first time I've used it, and I'm absolutely shocked at myself for it, because I really, really love the images and will be using this again. Absolutely no doubt about it. So there it is, everyone. I hope you enjoyed it, and as always, thanks for watching, and until we speak again. Bye-bye.